to read another story, and this one is a classic. That means it's been loved and enjoyed for a long time. In fact, it was written back in 1823, and that's a long time ago. That's almost exactly 200 years ago. There was a man named Clement Moore, and he decided to write this story for his children. The Night Before Christmas. There was a different name to it then, and I just can't remember the name of it at the time. But it was something about Christmas. Like I think it was like Visit from St. Nicholas, something like that. But anyway, he drew this picture. People had a lot of different ideas of what Santa looked like, and they weren't sure which one was right because, you know, he comes in secret and we don't see him. Well, he put together his thoughts and what he knew, and he drew him like this. And now the children and families knew better what to think about and look for when they saw Santa. A red suit, kind of a chubby guy, a white beard and mustache, a red hat with a white pom-pom and fur trimming and all that. All that was a beautiful description that they weren't familiar with. And I believe originally, of course, when the father just wrote down this poem, because it is a poem, the words are rhyming as well, he didn't have pictures. He just had a story, and the children in his own family, his own children, really enjoyed it. But eventually the poem got spread around, and as the years went on, it became more and more popular, and then many, many people put it in a book form. Same words, but just different pictures, depending who drew the pictures to show. Now, the other day, I saw this read online on my computer, and the person that was reading it did a fine job reading, but the book she chose to show the pictures from, I didn't think was that great. There was nothing wrong with the artwork, there just wasn't very much of it. And it was very simple in that it didn't show like the whole picture. It doesn't show as many details, and it didn't really put you in the situation of the night before Christmas, which is a very exciting time. So this book is one of my favorites with illustrations that are beautifully done. The story, as I said once again, was by Clement, well, it actually his middle initial is C, so Clement C. Moore, and it's illustrated by Douglas Gorsline. And Douglas Gorsline, I don't know what else he's done, but he's a great artist, and you'll probably enjoy it too. Look at this beautiful picture of the town that Santa's going to be coming to that night. Of course, he comes to every town, but this story is about this town. You can see the moon shining up above, snow on the ground and on the houses. This is actually probably early evening because people are out. Here's people pulling a sled, dog, 2 dogs, a snowman. I mean, this is one of those books where it's hard to show it on a phone because you could look at this picture for a long time and still miss something. And that's how all of his pictures are. They're so detailed and more realistic. And so you get an idea of what it was like in this small town long ago on the night before Christmas. Now, I'm going to read this story first, leaving some words out, because I have some friends that might listen to this that have heard this story over and over since they were little, and then they read it to their children, and now they're older and they're like, I could never forget that story because I've heard it so many times and I love it. So I'm going to read it, and it's a tradition that when I read it to them, I leave some words out, and then they can, as they listen, fill in the blank. I'll let them know what it is, or let you know what it is, the word is. But I'll leave out a few words because sometimes when things are so familiar, you can hear them and say, oh, I know that poem, and I know the next word is happy, or, you know, whatever the word is. So I'm going to read it, and like I said, I'll leave a few words out. So the first part of this poem is "'Twas the night before Christmas." That means it was the night before Christmas. And once again, we have this beautiful picture. This is a house with some typical things on the windowsill, some toys, some flowers, a candle, because this is a long time ago before electricity, children outside, someone on a sled, all these fun things from a snowy day, birds at a bird feeder. I mean, like I said, it's just covered with beautiful pictures. It was the night before Christmas when all through the house, there's a house, and it's one of those views when they chop off part of the wall. I mean, this is what the outside looks like, a brick wall, but they show you what it looks like if you were to be able to see through the kitchen, the living room, the upstairs bedrooms, you know, the parlor where they have the mantle with stockings and a Christmas tree, and then this is the outside too. I don't know if it's brick. This looks like it's a wooden clapboard and a red door. But you can see it's a pretty big house, and it's an old-fashioned house from the past. So 'twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a squeak, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that, who's coming? Saint Nicholas soon would be there. Once again, another beautiful picture. There's a wreath hanging outside, snow on the windows, a cozy looking parlor and mantle, stockings, tree. Who's asleep on the floor with his bone? A sweet doggy. Lots of pictures. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Sugar plums is a reference to candy. They were thinking about sweets and yummy foods that they wanted to eat, and they were hoping that Santa would bring to them. And once again, here's a beautiful picture of some children in their bedroom, sleeping amongst their toys, a rocking horse, a little wagon, a kitties on the floor, and lots of little interesting things, a doll buggy. But the children are sound asleep. And Mama in her kerchief, back then they used to wear hair coverings, the women and men when they went to bed. So Mama was in a kerchief and I in my cap, another hat, had just settled down for a long, here we are, they're in bed, Mama and Daddy, had just settled down for a long, winter's nap. There they are, they have like a chaise lounge type chair, they're in bed, and you can see the dad here is just starting to peek up a little bit like, oh, there he is right there, sorry, because the next line is, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, lots of noise. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, quickly hurried to the window. He's like, what is going on here? He tore open the shutters, and he threw up here he is jumping out of bed, hurrying, get his slippers and run to the window. So he tore open the shutters and threw up the sash, right? There he is, hurrying out of bed. And the next line is, the moon on the breast of the new fallen snow, right? The snow was out there, and it was the moon shining on the snow. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it makes it bright. It gave a luster of midday to objects below. In other words, it made things look bright and shiny, even though it wasn't morning or daytime, it was nighttime. But that reflection of the moon off the snow. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh, and 8 tiny reindeer, right? With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. And there is a beautiful picture of the town and the moon. And who's that? Santa flying across the sky. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Remember the names? Now Dasher, now Prancer. Oops, excuse me, I left one out. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, and Vixen. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donder, and it rhymes with Vixen. Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. And there they are. You got a close look of the reindeer from the front to the back, the whole group, and there's our friend Santa guiding the sleigh up into the air, even higher, to get on the roof. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. That's just a poetic version of the fact that when winds blow, leaves fly up in the air, and that was what happened magically with Santa and his sleigh. So up to the housetop, the coursers, they flew with a sleigh full of toys and who? St. Nicholas, too. So up he got on the roof, got out of his sleigh, and he went over to the chimney. There he is. He even has a little ladder to get in there. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney, St. Nicholas came with a bound. I have a dog at the door. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his, look at, there he is, down the chimney. There's his feet. They're lower, 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 landed. And there he is dressed all in fur. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, right? And his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and, it rhymes with foot, soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. And there he is. You can see he's smoking his pipe. Not a good idea, Santa, but you know, back then they didn't know better. And there's the kitty. He's like, oh, what's going on here? His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, and his nose like a cherry. Do you remember that part? His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. And the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke had encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. Good. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. The dad is telling the story about seeing Santa and thinking, he's a cute guy, and it just makes me chuckle. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. In other words, I didn't have to worry because he's a good guy and he was busy giving presents and I could trust him. Santa was a good, friendly guy. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and he filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk. There he is, filling the stockings, just finishing up, and then he turns with the jerk. The kitty's still kind of like, whoa. And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney heroes. And there he is, a finger on his nose, and he's going to give a nod, and then whoop, like magic, up the chimney. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team, gave a, I can't whistle like that, I wish I could. But to his team, he gave a whistle, so that got the reindeers back and ready to go. And away they all flew like the down of a thistle. Thistle's a soft plant that when it goes to seed, it just kind of floats away, sort of like a dandelion. Yeah. There he is getting into the sleigh. It's still nighttime. And there he goes, getting ready to take off. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight. And there he is up in the air. He went right from the house up in the air. Whoa! There he is. Up in the air. You can see the moon shining on him. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight. Do you remember what he said? The whole sentence? That's the rhythm of it. And this is what it is. Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And that's just a pretty picture of the stars. Yeah. And again, each picture, even this one here, is tinier, but there's pictures of toys and presents and bells and evergreen boughs and, or holly, I think it's hollies and berries. I mean, just so many details that got to look at this book and see them. But that's the end of the story. Now, I will read it again another time where I fill in all the blanks and I don't pause if you'd like me to do that. But otherwise, this is the version with the words left out so that you can fill it in and have fun and see how much you remember. And if you don't remember every word, or if you only remember one, or if you don't remember any but you just enjoy hearing it, that's fine. It's just to have fun with because it's an old favorite at Christmas time for all ages, right? Okay, the night before Christmas. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.